Hello, this is Idodmg and welcome back to the channel. I got an exciting one for you today, and I'm really amped up to talk about Dragonkin the Banished. This is a hack and slash action RPG that's going to be releasing into early access on March 6th. There will be a demo available as well, and that will be coming out on February 20th. Originally, I was just going to wait until February 20th, check out the demo, stream it, and then start making all the videos and stuff that I had planned. But I decided to go ahead and take a shot in the dark and message Nacon, the publishers behind Dragonkin the Banished. I believe they were also the publishers for Warhammer Chaosbane back in the day. I decided to go ahead and message them and just see if there was any chance I could get in earlier so I could start making content a little bit sooner. And I was super happy and thankful when they responded and gave me the approval and allowed me to gain access to the demo a little bit earlier. I'm not being paid, there's no NDA, nothing like that. I just simply asked and they responded. And thank you again to Nacon for allowing me the opportunity. Let's go ahead and talk about Dragonkin the Banished. As I mentioned, the game will be releasing into early access on March 6th, so the game will look a little bit different than the demo. The demo is what we're going to be talking about in this video, since it's what I've experienced and what I feel the most comfortable talking about, since I haven't been able to actually play the early access version of the game. Don't worry though, towards the end of the video, we will talk a little bit about early access and what it's going to look like, so that hopefully you can decide if it's going to be worth your money or not. I've had my eye on Dragonkin the Banished for quite some time. Now, some early gameplay videos and gameplay footage kind of had me feeling a little bit like, it looks fun, another action RPG, whatever, we'll see, not holding my breath type of deal. Plus, I've been super addicted to Path of Exile 2 for basically since it came out in December into early access. But Dragonkin, I gotta say, and I'm really happy and excited that the demo, I streamed it for 2.5 hours, the VODs on the YouTube channel, stuff like that, but I played for 2.5 hours, just the demo, one character. And I love how much you can tinker with your character and just the different build opportunities. We're going to break it all down for you here. So when you boot up the demo, there's going to be a prologue. It took me about 20 minutes to complete. It's nothing really that noteworthy, just kind of throws you into the game, gives you a feel for it. And then after that, the game gives you 3 characters that you can choose to play. You can play all 3 if you want. There's no time limit on the demo, anything like that. Literally for the demo, I feel like I could probably play 10 to 20 hours. And it's just the demo. That's crazy to me for a demo. But you have 3 kind of pre-made characters. They're all level 35. You have the Barbarian class, the Knight class, which has like a javelin that's pretty cool, and the Oracle, which is kind of like a mage caster type of deal. I played Oracle the most when I very first checked out the demo. I intend to check out the other ones and make videos all about all of my experiences. But they're predetermined classes in the demo, so you have their level 35, they're kind of already set up and stuff like that. Now, when it goes into early access, it won't be that way. But again, we'll dive into the early access launch a little bit later here. Let's keep focusing here on the demo. So you pick your character, you jump in, you're going to have access to the Ancestral grid system. I went ahead and jumped to the game here. You can see we have the Ancestral grid. We're going to go ahead and try to make this as clear and to the point as possible here. There is a little bit of complexity here, and maybe in the future I'll do more of kind of a deep dive into this whole system and some different things that I've learned with it. But I just want to give a general overview here. So this is the skill tree, basically, the skill system. In every action RPG, you have a skill tree, whether it be Path of Exile 2, you have your gems, and then you can put support gems in there, or Last Epoch, you get the idea. This is what it is in Dragonkin the Banished. It's the Ancestral grid. You're going to be socketing in these hexagon fragments into this tree. Now, if there's a skill on the hexagon, so for example, right here, we have Ethereal Darts. This is going to be the skill, and you can see it down here on my skill bar. Now, that takes up 1 skill slot. You can only have 5 skills on your tree, and you cannot have 2 of the same skill in this tree either. Well, what makes this really special is you put a skill in there, and then this one has an attached modifier here. So whenever I use my Ethereal Darts, I'm going to gain a temporary movement speed boost. Now you can see this is a green rarity hexagon. So for the rarities, it goes common, uncommon, and then your green is where you're going to see your rare. And then I believe after that, it goes to legendary. So the Ethereal Darts has this movement speed tied to it. Now you can also see the lightning bolts on here. It has 3 lightning bolts. So that means that I'm going to get 12% walking speed from that modifier. Now, what's really cool and really special about this whole thing is, for me, I like to, when I'm playing action RPGs, I like to pick one skill and try to really ramp it up and then kind of build around that skill and find other ways to bolster the damage and stuff like that. So the skill I really focused in on here is this explosive corruption skill. Went ahead and moved my camera over a little bit here so you can see all these different modifiers on here. You can see we have 13 modifiers active, which is also going to activate symbiosis. Now, before we get ahead of ourselves, let's just touch a little bit about what modifiers look like and how you can actually do this. So you can see I have this moused over. I moused over this ability, and all the ones that are lit up green, I'm getting those modifier bonuses from. So you can see, like, for example, I'm actually getting the, I guess this is a wormling skill, but so I'm getting the projectile right here, this modifier, even though it's not directly touching this. And that's because this fragment right here, this is a 2 fragment. You can see it's connected with this rectangle here. Those rectangles mean that they're, you know, it's one kind of cluster. So this one's a cluster of 3. This one's a cluster of 2. And it's actually touching this hexagon fragment cluster of 3. So we'd be getting these modifiers, cooldown, and projectiles. I'm really not a big fan of the projectile modifier because it does make it do reduced damage, but I need to look more into this. So anyway, there's different types of your hexagons. You have your active skills, you know, your character abilities, and then you have the modifiers, but you also have wormling skills. Now, your pet that follows you around can cast skills. Now, in order to activate these skills, it's not a button or anything like that. You have to have it connected to one of your abilities. So Path of Cold is a wormling skill, and it will create a line of cold whenever the ability that I'm using, my active ability, hits an enemy. So this is actually tied to my explosive eruption. So whenever I cast explosive eruption, it's also going to trigger my Path of Cold wormling skill. I just wanted to kind of go over here and show you, this is the training dummy part of the map over here. You can see the whole map here. We'll talk a little bit about it here. But this is what it looks like. So there's your lightning, and then there's your wormling ability. I don't like how it shoots off the sides, but hey. Again, I like this game. There's still much more to learn. I want to just keep talking about my experiences with the demo. And that was a nice little overview of the Ancestral grid, which is just one way to customize your character, and arguably probably the most complex part of the character building that I experienced so far, and definitely where I've spent the most time kind of min-maxing my build. Now, I want to go ahead and talk about the next part that is in the demo, will be in early access as well, and this is the attributes. Now, attributes usually are like, if you use strength, you get some health, and then maybe you need certain amount of attributes to be able to equip a certain piece of gear. It's a little bit different in Dragonkin the Banished, and I really like how they have it set up. So let's just go ahead and talk about the one I put a bunch of points into. So this is Intellect. You can see over here, Intellect's going to give us attack as well as maximum HP, and then Courage, which will give us armor and attack, and so on. What makes this really special is it's not just you're getting these bonuses, but what makes this really special is you're not only just getting these bonuses when you put points in, you're also unlocking tiers of passive abilities here that you can use. These are really awesome. This one's going to give you a bonus damage here. I have this one to give me electric damage, and these are options. You can choose one out of that selection for each tier as you invest points into there. And then going all the way to the bottom of the tree, you can unlock some really powerful bonuses as well. It's just in the, I guess I could get down to 100. I got to look more into the builds and stuff. Well, let's go ahead and talk about the next thing here, which is we'll talk about, you just have a stat sheet. There's nothing really to point out here. You have talents. I haven't really unlocked much of this yet. I don't know if this is something that's more, I guess I have a point in technique. I'm getting a point from the wormling, I guess. I'm not really familiar with the talents. I need to look a little bit more into that, but it seemed like a whole nother way to customize your character. And then over on your wormling, you have your wormling attributes. They kind of work the same as your character, but yeah, it's or your wormling. It's pretty cool again. This one I like down here. After you use a basic skill, you're going to increase your core skill damage. And then after you use a core skill, you get an attack speed. This is for 100 points. Yeah, I really like how you can invest the points in there and unlock tiers and passive abilities and stuff like that. Now, another thing that makes action RPGs really fun, of course, is the loot and itemizations. The loot in Dragonkin the Banished, again, has those same rarities. You have white, blue, green, orange, and then I believe there's 2 higher tiers that I don't have access to yet. I believe they're called Divine and Corrupted, something like that. again, I really plan to, I'm really excited for this game to play a whole bunch and create more content. So as we dig deeper into the game and learn more about the game, hopefully we'll get some more videos about all those systems. But here's what the gear kind of looks like. You have your gear score, which I really am not a fan of. I'd rather just compare stats on the items instead of the game telling me what they think is better. But it is what it is. And there's been a couple situations where the score was a little bit higher, but I was losing like 800 maximum health, and there was not really much gain. So I actually ended up keeping the lower scored item in that scenario just because max HP is super valuable. But the itemization, I don't know. They don't have crafting in really for your gear yet. They do have a little bit of crafting for your rings as well as your potion. But there will be crafting in the early access eventually. I'm not sure if it'll be there on launch. Again, we'll cover that at the end of the video here. I'll go ahead and show you the ring crafting, what the UI looks like. So in the demo, you can make a white, blue, or green ring, and it costs materials that you find while playing the game. You can choose your base attribute, which remember ties into this whole system here. So if you're kind of wanting a few extra points, you could get it from your ring, which is really powerful. You can also tell the game exactly what modifier you want just by clicking this. They actually came up with an update and cleaned this up. It looks really nice. Before, the background was like transparent. This is a really nice addition here. Cool. I just updated right before recording this video, so new to me, but you can see these are your primary stats. You can get a secondary stat here, which is your resistances and other kind of defensive stuff here. And then you craft it here. It's pretty straightforward, I think. Once we have access to these two tiers, we'll see what else we can do with this crafting. But yeah, pretty cool way to do this. I'm hoping we can do this with our actual gear in some sense. Now, it is deterministic. You can decide what modifiers you have, but there's a little bit of randomness here with deciding what the range will roll on that specific item. So, I made a ring last night, I believe, and yeah, it was right here. And the maximum HP, I could have gotten like 30 more. And you can see it in this window right here. And I think it's pretty cheap to craft. So you could craft it over and over to try to get a higher on that range roll if you wanted to. Now you also have potion crafting. I haven't spent much time with this, but here's what that menu looks like. You have your blue, green, orange, or yellow potions, and then you can throw in your different modifiers. There's, I think, 24 different modifiers you can choose from for your potion. Anywhere from evasion, armor, I think there's movement speed, more healing. Loads of different stuff here to check out with your potion crafting. So all of that we just talked about is just simply character customization. We haven't even talked about the city building aspect or the end game that's going to be in here as well. And I apologize. I was trying to keep this video real short, but I don't know. I guess I just am excited to talk about the game. So thanks for hanging out with me. Let's go ahead and keep talking about Dragonkin the Banished. In the demo of the game that comes out on February 20th, again, you will have access to one game mode. I believe it's called like Dungeon Purification, something like that. Pretty much you're going to go in there. There's going to be a meter that you fill up while you're killing stuff. When that meter is full, you go in and fight the boss. Now, the boss is really crazy. It's like something I've never really seen before. There's so much going on there. There's different obstacles to avoid. I really enjoyed the boss fights. I found them kind of challenging, just, trying to dodge some of the stuff. But it's really fun. And also when you die in this dungeon mode, you don't lose XP like you do on Path of Exile 2, which is really nice. Instead, what the penalty you will suffer is you get a reduction to your maximum health each time you die and revive. And then once you do revive and go back to town, that you'll have your full max health back. It's just kind of, just for that dungeon run. But that's just one end game mode. And then at early access launch, they're going to have another game mode, Hunts, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. The other part that's going to be in early access, and you can't really do it in the demo. So when you play the demo, as I mentioned, you're going to have the 3 characters already level 35. But another big part of Dragonkin the Banished is being able to level up your city and unlock different nodes. I went ahead and jump back into the game here just real quick to show you the city. You can see all these different things you can upgrade. You can upgrade your different crafting NPCs. You can upgrade a bunch of different stuff here. Character boost, XP boost, gold find boost, different stuff like that. And when I say character boost, I believe you can actually get like damage buffs and stuff like that. It's pretty awesome, more storage stuff. And at the start of early access, it's only going to be single player, but they are going to add multiplayer later on. And with multiplayer, you can actually work on upgrading your city with your buddies, which will be pretty cool, I think. But in the demo, they give you your city. It's level 10. You can see I haven't even leveled up my city at all. Monty Sky, however you say it's the name of the city. I haven't leveled it up at all yet. I don't think you can in the demo. But that is a whole nother part of progression within the game as well. It's going to be leveling up your city and kind of picking which route you want to go. If you want more bonus XP, more gold, whatever, stuff like that. I can't wait to get my hands on that and actually see how it really feels. So in closing here, I want to go ahead and talk about just kind of recap what the demo has, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what early access will offer. So in the demo, you can expect to have 3 different characters to check out and play. They're already level 35 with their own gear and skills, but you can play that in-game mode of filling up that meter in that dungeon and then fighting the boss, and that's really the only game mode in the demo. But in there, you can find new skills, new modifiers, new gear. You can also craft your rings, your potions, and you can check out all those character customization systems that we went through, from the Ancestral grid to your attribute system, your wormling, and more. So the demo is pretty beefy in my opinion. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what you can expect to find in early access come March 6th. When early access launches on March 6th, it's going to have a launch discount, which will be the equivalent to about $20 US. But once that sale ends, it'll be 25 USD. So I think not a bad price, man. It's cheaper than PoE 2, but probably with a little bit less content. Anyway, let's quit comparing it to PoE 2 and let's talk about what you're going to get for your money at the start of early access. It's going to include the prologue, which is in the demo as well. It's nothing special in my opinion. I beat it in 20 minutes. They're also going to have Act 1 in the early access version launch here, which they say is going to be about 6 hours of gameplay. That remains to be told, as I haven't had my hands on that yet, but we'll let you know when I do. You're also going to have access to the city of Montisky. This is going to be managing upgrades, that you can access more services and more crafts and other things that you can upgrade as well. Now, for the end game in early access, you're going to have the dungeon purification, like I talked about, filling up your meter, killing the boss. But the other end game mode we're going to have at the start of early access, again, there's going to be a total of 5 end game modes eventually. But at the start, there's only going to be 2, your dungeon purification and then your hunting board. So basically what this is going to do, and again, I haven't played it, it's just this is the information I have right now to share with you. Once we do get my hands on it, though, you can bet we'll be talking about it. You're going to be able to go to the hunting board, and you can hunt different creatures that you're going to unlock through the story. So I'm assuming it's going to be like story encounters that you're going to go hunt in the end game version. And on top of all this, there's also 4 different difficulties that you can play through as well to get more loot and things like that. In fact, the divine and corrupted gear that I was talking about a little bit earlier, I believe are actually locked I believe those 2 are actually locked behind the 2 higher difficulties. Well, the hunting board is going to let you start a quest that you can kind of, I don't know if you can choose, but they have different time durations, modifiers, difficulty. You can also choose the different rewards in there. They're replayable. There is also going to be like a chaos hunt that's a randomly generated hunt that has a draconic creature in a specific part of the world. So it sounds like you're going to be able to kind of pick your own like map in a sense. I guess it's a hunt in this game, and you can customize, you know, how hard it is, what you're doing in there. I think it's going to be pretty awesome. You can also pick, they're calling them augmentations, which are going to be buffs for these hunts and stuff like that. I don't know what all it's going to entail, and I really can't wait to get my hands on it so that we can provide more in-depth details of what Dragonkin the Banished will offer in its early access launch stage. And that's going to wrap it up for this Dragonkin the Banished, my experiences with the demo. I'm super excited for early access launch on March 6th. I can't wait to see what all the game's going to entail. Thank you again to Nacon for allowing me the opportunity to check the game out early and start talking about the game early with you. I really sincerely hope this game gets the attention that it deserves. If it's anything like the demo, they're going to have a true gem here. I can't wait to see and sink loads of time into just exploring that ancestral grid and all the different builds that are available. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful and or entertaining, don't forget that like button and subscribe to the channel today. Please consider picking up a channel membership. It helps me and the family out more than you know. But don't forget, your view alone means the absolute world. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.